Most men today live on their knees, not before God, but before their own fear. They've become prisoners of laziness, wounded pride, and cowardice disguised as an ordinary life. They've forgotten what it means to be worthy of respect. A knight is not born strong, he becomes strong, and the first strike of the sword is always against himself. The man who cannot bear the weight of discipline will bear the weight of humiliation. This is a call to the man who's tired of being weak, the one who longs to rise and be someone others can respect. The world teaches that respect is earned through fame, looks, and money. But the Templars knew the truth. Real respect is born from self-mastery. A man may wear gold on his fingers and still be poor in spirit. He may command others, yet remain a slave to his own vices. The knight who walks the path of honor understands that physical strength is only the shell. The real steel lies in the spirit. He fights to keep his word when no one is watching, and stands tall even when his body begs to fall. To be respected is not to be admired, it is to be quietly feared for your unwavering resolve. And that inner strength isn't inherited. It's forged in the cold of dawn, in the weight of failure, and in the fire of daily sacrifice. No man becomes respected by running from shame. Humiliation is the blacksmith's first blow that begins to shape the steel. The Templar knew this well. Before wearing the armor, he had to kneel before his own misery. It's on that cold ground, between mistakes and defeats, that the spirit begins to take form. The weak man hides his failures. The man becoming honorable faces them as part of the price of growth. Shame is a flame. It can burn and destroy, or it can warm and purify. The choice is yours. When a man accepts his smallness, he creates space within himself to grow. But as long as he pretends to be invincible, he remains small, trapped in the illusion of greatness. Iron only becomes a sword after enduring the fire, and a man only becomes worthy after enduring pain without losing purpose. There are no shortcuts on the path to respect. There are scars, there are falls, there are hidden tears. But there is also the quiet strength of those who choose to keep going, even when no one believes in them anymore. Those who laugh at your weakness today have no idea what's being forged inside you. Respect doesn't rise from the laughter of others, but from the steady gaze of a man who's walked through hell and returned standing. The Templars never spoke about what they would do. They simply did it. Because the one who needs to announce his strength still lacks it. The man who seeks respect must learn the value of silence. Not the silence of fear, but of discipline. The silence of someone who acts without needing to prove anything to anyone. Discipline is the steel that keeps the sword steady. Without it, a man breaks in his first battle. Willpower wavers, moods change, motivation fades, but discipline remains. It is the bridge between who a man is and who he claims to be. With every morning you honor your word, a new ring of steel is forged around your soul. The Templar Code was simple. Rise before the sun, obey without complaint, fulfill the mission, and protect what is sacred. The body would ache, the cold would bite, hunger would roar, but the mind stayed in order. That is the essence of strength, to continue even when you no longer feel like it. Today, men break because they mistake comfort for peace. They want results without routine, respect without sacrifice. But the knight knows peace is the fruit of a war well fought. He keeps silent to hear the sound of his own conscience and acts even when no one is watching. Silence, when born from discipline, is louder than any speech, because the world listens when a man lives what he says. Words lose power with time. Lived example never does. Before defeating any enemy outside, the knight had to conquer the one that lived within. The body is a battlefield, and the mind is the commander. A man who does not master his body is doomed to serve his desires. A warrior who does not master his soul is doomed to fight the wrong wars. The Templar never gave in to excess. He ate to sustain himself, not to indulge. He trained to serve, not to show off. He slept enough to be ready, not to escape life. The body was seen as an altar, an instrument that had to remain clean for the spirit to stay strong. Taking care of it was an act of obedience, not vanity. But mastering the soul was even more sacred. Controlling anger, pride, envy, and fear was the knight's true training, because a sword in the hands of an uncontrolled man becomes a weapon of destruction. Only the warrior who rules his own heart can wield power without being consumed by it. Modernity has made men slaves to their impulses. They crave everything but can deny nothing. They chase pleasure in everything, yet find purpose in nothing. That's why respect has become rare, because it only grows in the soil of discipline, where the will has been trained and tested. The man who masters both body and soul becomes a fortress, not because he is untouchable, but because he has learned to guard himself from what seeks to corrupt him. He doesn't react, he decides. He doesn't yield, he endures. And when the world tests him, he smiles in silence, for he has already fought greater battles within himself. No one becomes respected overnight. The knight isn't born ready, he is sculpted by time, like a stone shaped by the wind. The weak, the cowardly, the uncertain, all carry within them the seed of respect. But that seed only sprouts when pride dies and the work begins. The coward waits for motivation. The man walking toward respect acts even without desire. He rises when the body aches, fulfills his duty when no one is watching, keeps his word when it would be easier to break it. That's how trust begins to form, and trust is the foundation of respect. To be a reference is not to be admired. It is to be consistent, to be the same in public and in silence. The Templar knight didn't seek applause, but integrity. He knew that true authority doesn't come from shouting, it comes from the steadiness in one's gaze. Each day lived with honor brought him closer to a rare kind of power, the power of credibility. Over time, the man once ignored becomes watched. What was once mockery becomes example, and when others see that he doesn't bend with the wind, they begin to call him strong. But he knows the strength isn't new. It was always there, only hidden beneath fear and lack of discipline. Respect arrives slowly like dawn, and when the sun finally touches the face of the man who never gave up, he understands. It wasn't the world that honored him. He became worthy of honor. The one who was once despised now carries the quiet weight of being an example, and that is the greatest trophy a man can ever earn. You don't need to live in a monastery or wield a sword to walk the path of a knight. The battlefield is your daily life, and every decision is a blade that cuts toward weakness or toward honor. Wake up early, even when your body begs for more sleep. Keep your word, even when no one is watching. Treat your body like armor being prepared for battle, and your mind like a temple being guarded. Learn to say no to what weakens the spirit. Addictions, procrastination, false friendships. Speak less, listen more, and live so uprightly that your actions speak louder than your words. Serve something greater than your ego. Be a protector of your family, of truth, of faith. Respect is born from devotion, not pride. A man who disciplines himself to serve is more feared than 100 who fight for vanity. The Templar philosophy isn't about the past, it's about the present. It's about the courage to stay firm in a world that bows to every pleasure. And that firmness begins when you decide to become the kind of man God can trust. Respect is not earned through words, but through scars. And every man must choose to remain a slave to his impulses or become the master of himself. The knight does not seek followers. He seeks to be faithful to what he believes, even if he must walk alone. When the old self dies, the true warrior is born, one who needs no audience to be honorable, nor applause to stay steadfast. Between the weak and the respected lies a battlefield, and its name is discipline. This is the call. Rise. Stop running from pain, from silence, from responsibility. The world already has too many ordinary men. What it needs are knights, rare, unshakable, guided by principle. The road is long, but the one who walks the path of respect never walks in vain.